my fellow book lovers, and welcome back to today's video. Today's an exciting one because this is obviously my next 3 months wrap up. So this is every book that I've read April through June. So we've got a pretty hefty stack here of books that I've read. So if you need to get a drink, grab a snack, whatever, this is going to be a long one. Buckle on up, okay? Because we're gonna jump right in, okay? I'm not gonna do any statistics or anything like that just because I did post a video maybe like 2 weeks ago of a mid-year wrap up essentially, and I'll post that video here and I'll like link it down below and stuff like that, which gives you all the statistics that are like basically up to date. There's only like a few more books added to that. So far this year, I've read 56 books. The grand scheme of things, my entire, average star rating, the amount of romance, thrillers, things like that, I think has only increased by maybe like 2 or 3 books. So yeah, you can go ahead and watch that if you want more like statistics and generalizations, but I'm gonna hop right into this video. Most of the books I read this year, or these last 3 months, have been physical books because that's obviously one of my goals this year, is to really hunker down on my physical TBR back there. So yeah, I'm gonna try and go in the order that I read these books in, but I can't promise anything because they're actually all just like spread out right here in front of me. So that might be a little difficult. But anyways, I have my Goodreads pulled up. So the first book I actually read starting in April was Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. So obviously 2 books, the duology. I read these actually while I was on vacation. Michael and I, we ended up going to Belgium and Amsterdam, which was super fun. And I thought this is a great book to read while there. I don't know why I thought that, but like it was. Honestly, like it hit really well, like being in Europe and reading these books. I absolutely loved them. This book came out a few years ago at this point. I know it was super popular, I think back in like 2023, and then throughout 2024, like people kind of picked it up. I obviously just decided to pick it up. Absolutely loved it. I love Roman and Iris so much, and I just like loved the way that their like romance like sprouted during this time of like what they're going through. If you guys don't know what this book series is about, basically there is a war between the gods going on right now, and Iris and Roman are both journalists, and so they're both writing about this war, and they're both enemies. So they're like not academic rivals, they're like workplace rivals in a sense. They're always like trying to one up the other. Iris's brother is actually off in the war, and so she decides she's going to write him a letter, but she doesn't know if that letter's actually going to get to him, and it doesn't, right? So she writes on a magical typewriter, where this typewriter ends up sending letters to the other magical typewriters that are in this world. This is a fantasy novel, if you guys don't realize. There's like that weird bit of magical realism in there that you don't really like understand how it works, but obviously since it's just a little fantasy element that it's in there. Iris is writing letters, but what Iris doesn't know is that those letters are in fact going to Roman, and Roman knows that he is receiving letters from Iris and writing back to her, but she doesn't know it's him. They're slowly like falling in love with each other through these letters, and it's just so cute and wonderful, and I love this book series. Like I love them, and I just saw, well, not just saw, obviously it was a few weeks ago at this point, this was bought by Universal. So Universal is producing this and making this a movie, which I am actually very excited about because I do think they would do a very good job of doing a screen adaptation of this series. So absolutely loved it. Both the first and the second book, obviously. The second book, this one thing I don't like about the second book is that they actually aren't together most of the time. They are like separated through like for that entire second book basically, which I don't love because obviously I loved seeing them together, but I do just love their romance within this first book, and this is definitely a series I could see myself reading again. I think I gave this first one a 4.25 stars, and then the second book, Ruthless Vows, I gave that one a 4 stars. Overall, highly recommend the series. It is amazing, and I absolutely loved both of them. I also just want to preface by saying that I always rate my books and give my reviews based off vibes. I truly just love books based off their vibes. Like I'm not like too in depth about it. I just want to have a good time and enjoy my books. So just so you guys know that. The next book I ended up reading, which was again the same trip, I ended up reading this on the plane ride home, and that was Hate Mail. Donna Marchetti? Is that how you say it? Marchetti? I don't know. I loved this book. I don't know why people don't talk about this book more, or like why the reviews on it are just like not as good, because this book ate. Like this book was so good and so funny. Like I loved this. Like this was definitely I don't want to call it like an enemies to lovers at all because it's not. Basically what's going on in this book is that the 2 main characters, Naomi and Luca, they have been pen pals since they were super young. Funny thing with their letters is that they both write like really mean letters to each other since they were in elementary school. So like that's just kind of like been their shtick for years, and they have been pen pals for a lot longer than like anybody else was like pen pals. So they just continuously kept writing to each other and things like that, and like built this this like friendship over years and years. The story kind of starts out with 2 years have gone by since Naomi has heard from Luca. She is like a famous weather girl. Not like famous, but she's famous in like the town that she does the weather for. So obviously she is on TV, and the next thing she knows, she gets a fan letter that is from Luca, and it's like a hate letter essentially saying that like, just like a funny little thing. I don't want to say it because it is actually really funny and I want you to read it for yourself to know what it says. But yeah, basically after that, like he's like, he never writes a return address. So she's trying to figure out where he is this entire time that he's been writing letters to her. Super funny. I loved this book. It really was just, it just ate. Like it was just so good, guys. I loved their relationship and their dynamic. It was just, I just like couldn't help but cackle. Like I read this on the plane ride home, an 8.5-hour flight, let me tell you, trying to hold myself back from cackling on an airplane with other people around, like literally in a middle seat, trying to not laugh hysterically at what they're writing or what they're saying to each other. I ended up giving this one, let me double check, what did I give this one? I think I ended up giving this again another 4.25 stars. It ate, you guys. I don't know why people don't love this book so much, but let me tell you, I think it ate. Next, we have Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. I don't know why, but I keep calling this one Swift and Swaddled. I don't know where I think there's another W in there, but there's not. It is Swift and Saddled. But anyways, I really enjoyed this book. I love this Rebel Blue Ranch series, you guys, so much. Like, it is such a fun series. All of these books are pretty short, but I do think that the characters have a lot of depth to them within this like short time frame, you know? She can kind of get a lot done within the short time frame, and just like the vibes are so good. Like cowboy romances just hit in the summertime, and I read this right before, and I like it was still kind of chilly here. It was like maybe 60-ish degrees or something, but like it was like getting me in the mood for summer. I was like, yes, no, like I need summer to come for more romances like this because they just hit so hard. Okay, I really like this one. Ada is about to be going through a divorce. She's an interior designer, and Wes is trying to make one of the the houses on their ranch a guest house essentially. So like kind of like making everything like making this a dude ranch that they live at, like their full-time farm, or their full-time ranch, not farm. Basically he hires Ada, and this is a workplace romance. They end up falling for each other. Obviously she ends up falling for the town. It's super cute. I really enjoyed this. I think I ended up giving this one a 3.5 stars. I didn't like love Wes and Ada as much as I loved Emmy and Luke in the first book, but this was really great. I still enjoyed it as a continuation of the series. I also love the found family aspect in this book. Everything We Never Said by Sloane Harlow. This book was so fast-paced, so good. Honestly, I don't have like really words to describe how much I really enjoyed this book. This is a young adult like mystery novel essentially. Ella's best friend ends up dying in a car accident. Like a few months have gone by, and next thing you know, like Ella essentially is like in love with her best friend's boyfriend is what it is. It's literally all on the back of the book. That was a terrible explanation. I am so sorry. Again, like I said, Ella's best friend Haley ends up dying in a car accident. So a few months goes by, and she starts confiding in Sawyer, and Sawyer starts kind of confiding in her because they are the only ones who truly understand like what they're really going through. Obviously they were both so close to Haley in ways that nobody else was. Ella starts falling in love with her dead best friend's boyfriend, but there's like a little mystery twist in here because Ella ends up finding Haley's diary, and then in Haley's diary she's writing about this person that you don't know who it is, and she's kind of like discussing all these things that are like happening and like abusive things that are happening towards her, and she's like, oh my god, everything's not as it seems. If you love A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, you will love this book. I think I really enjoyed it. It was so quick. I read it so fast. Like this was so fast paced. Like I don't know how else to say. I think it's less than 300 pages, so like you can get through it super quick. Like honestly, no brain power. The twist at the end, like I guessed early on because I just knew what to look for, but I enjoyed reading it because I wanted to see how it was gonna play out, because she did make you think it was someone else. Like she really did like trick you, and like I could see how like other people would be like, oh no, it's this person, but like I looked out for something so early on. I was like, no, like it's definitely this. But I like seeing how everything plays out. Like if I guess it early, like I'm just like that type of person. I really enjoyed this. I think I gave this a 3.5 stars. Super good, super fast paced, and I highly recommend. Next, I read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I really did enjoy this one. I did end up giving this one a 3.5 stars. It was very slow. This is a cozy fantasy, so be aware of that. Obviously, not that anything's bad with a cozy fantasy, but I think when you're aware that a book is a cozy fantasy going into it, like you can kind of like expect a little bit more of like, okay, what the vibes are. And this one is incredibly slow, like so incredibly slow. Whereas like I thought going into it, knowing it was a cozy fantasy, I would be good. But there was a lot of times where I felt like I was kind of bored. It just like wasn't quick enough. Like the book, for how many pages it is, because it's not that long, it just read so slow. I did really enjoy it though. I do think I'm gonna listen to the rest of the series though as an audiobook rather than physically reading them, because I do think as audio it would just like be a lot better. I didn't really love the romance interest in this one. His name was, what was his name? Wendell Banbleby? Yeah, Wendell. He just kind of like, I don't know, he was kind of like a little priss almost. If you know what I mean. Like he's just like, I don't know, but they're kind of like workplace rivals, but they are friends. Like, so that is very like specifically said in the book that they are friends. It's just that Wendell kind of just like overtakes everything like in her research that she's doing and invites himself on this research trip that she's going on, right? And she's just like, I don't need you, but he wants to go because what she's studying and stuff like that, he thinks that he can help. So it is kind of fun. It is a cozy fantasy. This does take place at the winter time though, so definitely save this for like a wintertime read. I thought that this took place like in the spring, just kind of based off the vibes. That was a little disappointing when I started reading it. But I guess if I had flipped through the pages, there are dates because it's basically written like a diary, not a lot of people say it's written like a textbook. I don't think that at all. It is a lot of diary entries. I do recommend it though. It was fun. Next up, Read the Winners by Frederick Bachman. I'm not going to talk about this one too much either because I have talked about the Beartown trilogy so much in like recent videos. I do really love this series. This book in particular, I personally didn't love that much. There was just like, and I know this is a lot of people's favorites, which to me honestly is a little bit surprising considering the first one is my favorite, but obviously everyone has their own opinions. This one, again, I didn't love so much solely because we were introduced to so many new characters that like I didn't know. And obviously you got to know them throughout the book, but like I didn't know them. I hadn't fallen in love with them like throughout these series. Like I had some other characters that were in it since the beginning. So I just like didn't love this one as much, but it was still a really good time. And this closes out the trilogy. This one is a little bit sadder in the end, just fair warning. I think I gave this one a 3 stars. Next, we have Fearless by Lauren Roberts. And if you guys are not new here, you know that I am not a stan of this series, okay? I do think that this series is so overhyped for what it is. Not that it isn't good for like her debut novel series. Like she's a great writer. I think she can do great things, but this just like, I don't know, this book in particular, like reading it, I kind of like guessed what was going to happen throughout. But again, like I said, like I like being able to guess and like kind of see how everything plays out. But there was just this one thing, and I do have a reading vlog with this book in it. So like I'll like tag it or like link it here and stuff like that. So you guys can go watch it because I'll give a lot of my thoughts and feelings obviously on the book. There was one thing in this book that literally I was like, are you kidding? And just like she brushed over it, and it was just something that she should not have brushed over. I was just like, nope. And that kind of ruined it for me, So I ended up giving this one, I think, just a 3 stars. It was fine. It was good. It was a good like ending to the series. So if you've read the entire series, or if you read the first 2 books and you were unsure, you can read this one to like finish it out. But it's like, you know how it's gonna end. You know what's gonna happen, right? So I don't know. And then next up, I read The Sweet Spot by Bella Matthews. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't really remember anything about this book. Bella Matthews, she's just a really good like palate cleanser author for me. This series that I was reading by her, this is like the hockey series that she wrote, and this is a whole universe. I've talked about this before. She writes a whole universe in this series. Like this is just like the 5th series within her entire universe, right? I don't really remember that this, I think this is like a marriage of convenience. I can't tell you much about it. I think I gave it a 3 stars. It was a good time. It was no brain power, just needed something to like quickly like read to kind of get me like either out of a slump or just like cleanse from a fantasy book. I don't really remember. Honestly, this series is fun. So if you want a quick fast-paced read, these books are no longer than I think 250 pages. So if you want a quick read that's super fun and giddy, you can go ahead and read these. Next, we have By a Thread by Lucy Score. Again, I know I did a reading vlog with this book in it, so I won't talk about it that much. I just can't get over how old these characters are and they act the way that they do. This one was a little bit better. Like when you kind of like forget about how old they are, the book kind of eats. You know, like the banter is really, really good. She does rate, I think, really great enemy to lovers, romances, workplace romances, grumpy sunshines. Like she writes those so well, and it's so Lucy Score, you know? Like if you love a Lucy Score vibe, then like this is it, you know? Like this is a good one to pick up. But I just cannot get over the way that they act with how old they are, okay? Basically, I don't think I've been really talking about what these ones are about. Some of them I have, but either way, this one's really not that important. Dominic is Allie's boss, and those are obviously the 2 main characters. Dominic is a creative something, like he's like the son of the owner of this particular fashion magazine. And then the mom of the mom who's the owner of the fashion magazine offers Allie a job because Dominic gets her fired from her job that she had at the time. So the mom is like, I have a job for you. You can come work for me. That's how it goes. And if you know anything about Lucy Score, then that's all you need. But I think I ended up giving this one again a 3 stars. It was a fun time. It's just so long for like a contemporary romance book. And like, obviously there's so many things in this that I'm like, you can cut this out. Like you can cut this out. Again, Lucy Score is very, very spicy. So if you don't love spice, then like, her books are not for you, okay? But very, very spicy. Not even like in the sense of like that there's a lot of spicy scenes. It's like their thoughts are very spicy. Like literally they can't go 3 pages without lusting over the other person. And I'm like, okay, I get it. We can move on. Next up, we have The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. This is a book that's been out for so long. I actually listened to this one on audio and I really did enjoy the audiobook, but it did take me a while to listen to it completely. For how short the book is, like I should have listened to it way quicker. I think it's just because if I'm listening to a book, I don't really like going in between, like back and forth, just because sometimes it kind of messes me up and I just prefer to listen to the audio. I ended up giving this one a 3.5 stars. The story itself is very entertaining. I do think a really great concept, but basically what happens is that Hannah's husband Owen goes missing due to like basically a little like scandal that's going on. And you find this out like at the very beginning of a book. And basically you're trying to uncover like why he went missing after this scandal happened, right? So it is a really fun concept. There is a good relationship between Hannah and the daughter of Owen. Well, not good relationship. It's more of like a growing relationship that you see throughout the entire book, which I thought was really nice. I did like that aspect of it too. I think this is a good little like mystery book. And if you're looking for another audiobook to listen to, then this is a good one. It's also an Apple TV show with Jennifer Garner. I've never watched it, but I know that she's in it. And I did want to watch it, but I don't have Apple TV, so that is a shame. Next, we have The Invisible Life of Adaru. This was another really, really good one. I was reading it and then I started listening to it, and the audiobook, I will say, is actually amazing. Like, I loved listening to Addie's story. Addie has been alive since like the 1800s, and she essentially makes a deal with the devil because she wants to like live her own life. She wants to get out of this marriage that she's being forced into because she wants to be her own person. She makes a deal with the devil to basically be free and be her own, but obviously that comes with some unwanted things, and he makes her essentially live forever, and every person that she meets immediately forgets about her once that she's out of their sight. And so she's lived a very lonely life until one day somebody actually remembers her. It's a beautiful story. It's really, really good. I really enjoyed seeing like all the lives that she has lived since obviously that day, since she was like 19 years old. It's really good. And I was like really intimidated by this book for so long because so many people like hyped it up, but it is definitely very, very good. I don't think this is as sad as people say it is. Like it's definitely sad, but like the ending didn't make me cry like a lot of other people said it did. Like I just like didn't feel that emotionally about it. I was like, oh, okay, like it's good and it's sad and I totally get it, but like I don't think it's so emotional that like you need to cry about it. That also might be making me really insensitive, but I mean, everybody's different, who cares? Anyways, I do highly recommend this book though. I think I gave this one a 4 stars. Again, really recommend the audiobook. The audiobook's so good. So if you are reading it and you just like are not sure if you're into it, audiobook is amazing. Yours truly by Abby Jimenez, you guys. This book is amazing. I love this book. I love Jacob and I love Brianna so much. I loved their relationship. I loved who they were as people and their friendship and like who they needed to be for each other at the time they had met each other and became friends. But basically Brianna and Jacob are both kind of like going through breakups. Jacob has severe social anxiety and everyone kind of perceives him as a dick because he just like doesn't necessarily know how to, not necessarily know how to act around new people, but everything like he just like second guesses himself. And again, like I said, he has severe social anxiety. So he ended up writing Brianna a little letter. It kind of like explaining like, hey, like I'm so sorry if I came off this way to you, and like it kind of just like explains himself. And from there, him and Brianna kind of just like write little notes to each other and they become friends and kind of just become exactly what they need for each other in the time that it's going on. There's also a little bit of a fake dating trope in here, so absolutely love it. It is so good. This is a 4.5 stars. Like I absolutely ate this book up. Like, Jacob was so sweet, and he was so just amazing with like even with like his social anxiety, and he has flaws and stuff like that, but he owns up to them, and just like, it's just a genuine person, and I really love that. And I felt very seen within Jacob just because of like the whole social anxiety aspect. Like, I totally understand like where it comes from and some of his thoughts and his feelings when he is out in public. Definitely his is a little bit more severe than kind of like what I ever experienced. Like, he definitely is the type of person where he even says it in the book, like he has to go to a place before like a party. Like, if it's like, if they're having like a party at a restaurant or something like that, he has to go to the restaurant like the day before, kind of like be kind of aware of his surroundings and stuff like that, so he's not as nervous. And I don't have to do that, but like, you know, like I just like love that she was so vulnerable with that and him within this book. So I really liked that. Amazing. If you've read Part of Your World, that's the first book within this like little interconnected standalone series. I do recommend that one, but you don't have to read that one before you read this one, like at all. Like, it's nice to know like the context and stuff like that, but like it's not necessary. But again, 4.5 stars. I loved this. I loved this. This is like definitely one of my top books of the year so far, and I highly recommend it to everybody. I love Lisa Jewell. So we have next up The Night She Disappeared. Again, listen to this one on audio. So good. I just like wasn't getting into. I don't know why, because I had like I said, I love Lisa Jewell. So like the fact that I was reading it and I wasn't getting into it was kind of like disappointing to me. I said, oh no. But then I started listening to the audio and I was like, oh yes, this is great. This is definitely one of her better books on audio. Like, I think like reading it definitely is a little bit hard to get into, but like it's so weird how she's able to like make everyone connect and like all their stories and everything intertwine so flawlessly is really amazing. Because at first I was like, how are all these people going to intertwine? This is definitely one of her more complex ones, I would say, when it comes to like everybody connecting, but she does it really well, and I really enjoyed that. But basically what happens is that Tallulah and her boyfriend end up going missing one night. Tallulah and her boyfriend are teen parents basically, so they're living with her mom. So her mom is watching the baby, and again, like I said, they just don't come home. Her mom is trying to unravel everything that's happened that night, so you're kind of in like this past and present timeline of like before they've gone missing and then like after they've gone missing. Essentially, like a year later, this woman who writes cozy mystery novels moves to town, and then someone starts leaving her clues to what's happened to this teenage girl. And it's a very interesting story. And so like now she's trying to figure out what's happened, because she obviously didn't live there at the time that they went missing, but she's very intrigued to figure out what has actually happened to this teenage couple. I think I gave this one a 3.75 stars. Highly recommend. It was very good, especially on audio. I really enjoyed listening to the audio version of this. So the next two books I actually ended up reading, they are the first two in a trilogy. I don't have the third one, so I couldn't read that one, unfortunately. That is a Dawn of Onyx and a Promise of Perdoe. This is a very like classic fantasy series by Kate Golden. This is her debut series, I'm pretty sure. It's very good. I enjoyed it. It does like kind of start out a little bit slow. Like, I wasn't like super into it, but it is good. Like, the ending of the second book makes me like really want to read the third one. Like, I was like debating even reading the second one, but as it kept going, like it was getting better and better. So I did obviously end up finishing both of them and enjoying them. I know a lot of people like love this first book. I just like maybe didn't connect to it that well. I gave this one a 3 stars, and then I think I gave this one a 3.5 stars. The ending, like I said, was good. That makes me really want to read the third and final book in the series. But basically, this is an enemies to lovers romance. Arwen gets essentially taken to the Onyx King's kingdom, right? Trades her life for her brother's essentially, and is like, I will go with you willingly if you like leave my brother. So they take her. Arwen is a healer though. She has like, this is a fantasy series, like I don't know if I mentioned, it's a fantasy series, but she is a healer, but she has like these like special healing abilities that she's not sure why she has, because other typical healers don't have them. But there are fae in this world, so like there are fae who do have like powers. She obviously was born to like non-fae parents, so she doesn't understand like why she has these like special healing abilities, right? But yeah, this is an enemies to lovers romance. It's very good. Like I said, I do recommend it, but it is a little bit slow at times. Like, it's just like a basic fantasy series, you know? Like, I don't want to say it's nothing special. Like, I do enjoy the story, but that's all I'm really gonna say. I feel like that was not convincing. That really wasn't convincing, but it is good. So if you do want to like decide to pick up the first one does drag on a little bit. The second one does get better. My battery is flashing. Of course it is. That's awesome. Okay, I do have a decent amount of more books left, so I guess I will just charge it and then we'll be back. All right, we are back, and hopefully I can finish this video up super quickly before my battery starts dying again. But the next book we ended up reading was Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. This is another one that I did end up actually listening to. I don't want to talk about this one too much because honestly, like, I didn't like it that much, like, after the fact. Like, I was reading it and was like, do I even really like this? And then after I listened to it and finished it, I was like, you know what? I did like it. But then now as I thought about it, and like, truth, not that it's not good, but almost just kind of like, okay, it just is there, kind of just happens. Like, the entire plot seems to be undone at the end of the book. So I don't like go too much into it. I don't even give you too many details, but Jen witnesses her son murder somebody one night. So basically she's trying to figure out how you could stop a murder before it happens, because she wakes up the next day after the murder and realizes that it's the day before the actual murder. And basically she just keeps going back and back in time to like figure out like all this information about like so many different things and storylines that connect to this one night and how they all happen, and seeing if she can change basically the outcome. It was okay. I did rate this one a 3 stars. I think I would keep it at 3 stars. I did enjoy listening to the audiobook. It came to a point where like literally she just kept going back in time, and I was like, okay, is she gonna, like, are we gonna get to where we're supposed to go? Like, is she gonna stop going back in time? Like, what's going on? Like, why is she going back so far in time? I mean, not that I wouldn't recommend it, but honestly, like, if you, I would say you could skip it. All right, next up we have The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. This series I know is super hyped up, or it was like an original like book talk series and stuff like that. I know a lot of people love Lauren Asher, okay? And not to say that I didn't love this book. Like, I did like it. I didn't love it. I don't know what it was, but this one just like didn't hit. And you'd think like for someone, me, because I am a Disney lover, absolutely love Disney. Like, basically, these 3 brothers in the Dreamland Billionaire series are essentially like in charge of Disney World, right? Their grandfather has left them stuff in their will, which would then make them like how they get their inheritance from their grandfather, right? Who owned Disney World, essentially, but it's called Dreamland here. This one follows Rowan and Zara, and basically Zara ends up working for Rowan, and Rowan is just like all serious and stuff like that, but he suddenly is like super into Zara, and like he just like doesn't understand like why he's super into her. Like, she's the only one where this has ever happened to him. Work together and it's fun, but like it just like didn't hit. I don't know, like there's no fake dating. It's like an enemies to lovers, like kind of can't stand each other, and she's the only one who's like willingly like standing up to him in the way that he acts and stuff. So like, yeah, I really like, almost feels like a fever dream. Like, I couldn't tell you too much about this book because I read it and I was kind of like, okay, like it was fine, but I wasn't like loving it. But overall, like, I liked it, and I will continue the series. I know a lot of people love her other book series, and a lot of people love the last book in this series. So I ended up giving this one a 2.5 stars. Not 2.5 stars, that's a lie. 3.5 stars. Sorry. Giving this one a 3.5 stars. It was good. I would recommend it. If you're looking for kind of like a palate cleanser romance, like one that doesn't involve really any brain power. It wasn't anything like super special. Next, we read In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I did not enjoy this book. This book I thought was so boring, and I'm just so sad that this ended up that way. I gave this one a 2.5 stars. I really don't want to talk about it for too long because, like I said, it's 2.5 stars. Like, I didn't really like it, but I just felt like it was very lusty. Like, the only things that they really liked about each other, or like that they kept thinking about each other, was like the physical attraction they felt. And I don't know, like, it just like, I didn't believe like their connection, which like kind of sucked because I liked them in the first book, which was Love Light Farms. This is obviously the second book, and I loved them in that one, like seeing them as side characters, but then just together, like I just did not feel it, and I was so bored, so bored. Like, it just like, so anyway, I'm not gonna talk about it. That's it for that one. Next, I ended up reading Twisted Hate by Anna Huang. Like, I read this one in a reading vlog, and she was spicy. Yeah, she was spicy, so dramatic. Honestly, this Twisted series, like books, like they just like give drama, right? They are just drama, and like it's like so fun, especially like that when that's what you're looking for. Like, when you know, like it's a typical book. And then on top of that, actually, I'm gonna talk about the last book in the series too, which is Twisted Lies, along with Twisted Hate, because I finished off the series obviously, and both of these, they were good, they were fun, and like I enjoyed them. Twisted Hate, I ended up rating a 4 stars. It was very spicy, and enemies to lovers. Josh and Jules's story. If you guys obviously read the first 2, you know how Josh and Jules are. So like very like rude to each other, like hate each other all the time and stuff like that. And they come up with this deal of like mutual beneficial, like being friends with benefits. And yeah, it was over 500 pages of spice. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you, it was just too much for me. Like that is just like too much spice, where like literally like that book could have been shaved down so much if we had taken out some spice and taken out them being stupid, because they were being stupid a big portion of the time. But let me tell you, it was a good old time. It was still fun while reading it. Like it was, like I said, I gave it 4 stars, like fun time. I guess maybe now I would probably knock it down to like a 3.75 stars rather than a 4 stars. I just like, I had fun while reading it. It was just like, there just like wasn't no need for it to be that long. And then just jumping ahead a few books, obviously with Twisted Lies, considering I did finish out this series. Twisted Lies, this one follows Christian and Stella. And Christian obviously owns Harper Security, which is the security firm that Reese Larson used to work for in book 2. And so he owns it, and he basically has been obsessed with Stella for so long. But he is just like not acknowledging that he's obsessed with her. He's just like, yeah, no, like I don't need a distraction. But I'm like, bro, you literally have a crush on her. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do here, but like you have a crush on her. Stella's manager kind of tells her like a way for you to like grow your account is to get a boyfriend. Now why? I don't know. But like the drama, it's there. You know what I mean? So like Stella and Christian come up with like a beneficial agreement again, to fake date basically. So Christian and her, like, he's like, I'll pretend to be your boyfriend. Like you can post me on your social media and stuff like that, as long as you be my date for events, because I'm told that I'm very just like all professional all the time, or all business all the time. And she's very sociable and personable. He goes, so I need someone who is willing to be personable, because I'm not with my clients or like people I'm trying to do business with first before I do business with them at these events. So it's kind of like a really beneficial agreement for both of them. They pretend to be dating, and then they, you know, obviously you kind of know what happens. This one I ended up giving, I think, a 3.5 stars. Like for how much, I even said this in the reading vlog that I read this one in, that even with like how hyped up Christian was, I feel like throughout the entire series, like he just like, this was so underwhelming. Again, like I said, gave it 3.5 stars. Again, a thick book for no reason. I will say though, this one, not as much spice. There was spice in it, but like not as much as like the other book did, or even as much as like Twisted Games had. I feel like Twisted Games had more spice than this one. It happened, I think, towards like 60% of the book. So this was a slow burn, okay? I will say that, I will preface it that way. This is a slow burn. Enough about that one. Let's go back to where we were. I love this one. Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan. I always say Monaghan, but I'm pretty sure it's Monaghan. Annabelle Monaghan. Love, love, love. I loved Allie and Ethan in this book. Ethan, this is like a true like romantic comedy. I think like I was like giggling and like kicking my feet while reading this. And like Ethan, he was just such a like charming male main character, and such like a genuine male main character. And I just loved that about him. I don't think I tabbed anything, but there was a point in the book that I know in my reading vlog that I mentioned. I don't know where it is in the book, but I just like truly thought that they were a really great couple. And I just like loved the loved the transformation within Allie herself. Annabelle Monaghan writes a lot of like women's like fiction with like romance in it. All of the women in her books are like very much like independent and like really come to their own throughout the entire story of the book, and this one is no different. Obviously Allie is going through a divorce. She's a professional organizer, but her own life is a mess, basically, is what it's saying. She meets Ethan, where she's like, you know what, I think I just want to have like a little fun silly summer romance, right, with Ethan. And you know, it just like goes from there. Like it just like is just like, that's all you need to know about it. Like the fact that like she just like learns to be basically be a single mother, learns to love herself while learning to love another person again, is just like, the way she writes it is so great, because it's just like so like in a natural way. Like it just doesn't seem like forced or anything like that. It just like is so natural in the way that she writes it, and the way that these people like come together and like learn to just be a couple without any limitations or expectations. There we go. A fun, silly little time. Okay. Ethan is so funny though. Like he is hysterical. Their text messages, I think, back and forth are so fun. I just think they're so cute and I love them so much. And I highly recommend this book. I gave this a 4.5 stars. This is again one of my favorite books of the year so far. So highly, highly recommend. And I cannot wait to write or read her other books that came out this year. Next, what did we read next? Okay. Next we read Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. This one finishes out that Crimson Month duology. The first one is Heartless Hunter. This is an amazing duology. I read the first book last year, and then obviously I read this one. Amazing. Finishes out the duology. I don't want to say too much about this one. This one basically picks up right from where you left off from the first one. Gideon and Rune, you know, they're enemies to lovers. It's kind of like that cat and mouse chase of like trying to get one without like one and the other type of thing. The only thing I know, like obviously that you know from the first one, if you don't know already, is that Rune is a witch and Gideon is a witch hunter. So he is trying to catch Rune so that he can kill her, but there's other things going on and like other things at play right now where Gideon knows he can't kill her without achieving like a bigger goal, so he needs her first. So basically it's like them going on like this journey and quest together to like get to this same end goal. Highly recommend. I loved this one. It was so good. I think I gave this one a 3.75 stars. Next, we ended up reading The Prize Girl by Amy K. Green. I actually listened to this one on audio again. This is a great audiobook. This goes between two different characters, Virginia and Jenny. Virginia is the older sister of Jenny, and Jenny, you find out early on, or right away, because it says on the back of the book, Jenny's a pageant queen, and she ends up being found in the woods, you know, like assaulted and murdered. And basically nobody really knows what happened. They're trying to figure out what happened, and Virginia is like on this journey, like after the fact, trying to figure it out, and then you're living in the past tense with Jenny, like leading up to everything that went down the night that she ended up, you know, being murdered. This was actually really good. The twist in it, I wasn't expecting. Like, I had guessed this twist. Well, I actually didn't guess this twist. I had guessed a specific person. Like, it was so weird in the way in the end that it worked out. But this one I thought was very, very good. I really liked the audiobook for this. I didn't physically read it because the book I have, very old. It's not water damaged, actually. There's one book I have that is water damaged that I didn't want to physically read. I wanted to listen to because it was very good. I actually would recommend this book like to a lot of people, because you have to be okay with obviously the contents of the book, of like what goes on with Virginia herself, and even like she even goes into detail about her own past, because obviously Virginia and Jenny, they're not obviously, but they are not like full sisters, they are half siblings, so they both share a dad. And basically Virginia kind of goes through her childhood and like her childhood trauma along with trying to figure out what happened to Jenny. It's very good, very compelling, and I actually wasn't expecting it to turn out the way that it did. Like, it's very surprising. So I ended up giving this one, I think, a 3 stars, but honestly I'd rate this one like a 3.75, 4 stars. Like, this was a very good audiobook. Next up, we ended up reading Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. This was a actually quite a surprise of like how much I enjoyed this, because I kept seeing quite like mixed reviews for it, and a lot of people said that, and I said this like multiple times in my video, but like, so if you want to go watch it you can, but this one, like, I heard again, after being traditionally published, wasn't as good as it was when it was indie published. I was kind of like a little skeptical, but I actually really enjoyed this. This was not what I expected it to be, but basically Princess Elwyn has been exiled, right? So she was given these dragons at birth. Due to a prophecy, her father exiles her but keeps the dragons. So she's been like essentially ripped away from these dragons that she has like these special connections with at a very young age. Basically this book is following Elwyn trying to get back to them. Very good. I loved the romance in this. The only thing I didn't like about this was that it was super choppy in the way that it was written, and again, I think that is due to the fact that because when it was traditionally published, they cut out things that like made it flow a little bit better, but obviously I don't know, because I did not read this when it was indie published, so could not tell you. I really enjoyed this book. Like, the banter was really good. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I think I gave this one a 3.75 stars. I do recommend it. It is a good fantasy, and that's all I really got to say about it. I don't want to say too much, because like, I hope that it's a series, but I don't want to get you too hyped up because I don't know if it's ever going to be completed. She wrote it in 2022, but I imagine since it got traditionally published, she's gonna finish it. You know what I mean? Next, Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. You guys, this was a 5 stars. 5 stars. I'm just like coming right out of the gate telling you, because this was a 5 stars. I am so obsessed with this book and these characters. Gus and Teddy, I love them. Okay, I love them so much. I still am thinking about them. I love them so much. I don't have anything else to say about it. Like, I just like love their little romance and their banter. Teddy and Gus, as you guys know, this is the 3rd book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. They are enemies to lovers. There's a bit of an age gap, and it's a single dad nanny like trope. Teddy is best friends with Emmy, who is the main character in the 1st book, and Gus is Emmy's older brother. And Gus has a daughter named Riley, and he's been co-parenting with Cam, who is the mom, but Cam is actually away for the summer due to her job. So Riley is staying with Gus the entire summer, which he's like happy about and fine with. Like, he is so excited, but he runs the ranch, so he needs help. So basically Teddy comes in to nanny Riley while does like the days that he doesn't have off, to kind of like be with her all day. Teddy comes in, she nannies, and as you know how it goes, I love them. This was a 5 stars. I don't need to go on any more about it because I just loved it so much. You guys need to go read this book. I love a cowboy romance, and I am obsessed. I am obsessed with them. Next, And this is a book I'm actually very excited to talk about because this book is called Last Seen in Chilltown, and this is a book from someone that I actually know. So like I personally know the author and stuff like that. She is a wonderful woman, and this is her debut novel. This is really great for a debut novel. I ended up giving this one a 4 stars. This is a little bit more of a literary fiction mystery book. I don't actually know what it's classified under, but I personally, like from like my own reading experience, would say it's like more of a literary mystery than like a thriller mystery book. But it also has a bit of magical realism in it, which is super fun because basically what happens is that this girl, Fiona, works at a thrift store, and basically one day she ends up putting on clothes that transport her into the person that wore them last, and the last time that they ever wore it. So basically she gets to live all these lives until one day she puts on a dress that is the dress of a missing girl, and she kind of like lives the night that the girl went missing. It's like super fun concept, and I loved it. And the ending too was like kind of took me by surprise. Like I kind of knew like where she was gonna go with it, but like it was very, very good. I highly recommend the book. Like definitely go pick it up on Amazon. You could get it on Barnes and Noble and stuff like that. I think super good time. Just to like keep in mind that like I said, this is more of like a literary fiction read in a mystery. So like the pacing starts off very slow, but then once you get to like obviously the missing girl, like everything picks up super, super quick, and like the story unfolds super quick, which is awesome. And I really, really love that. But she does do a lot of like good build up before then to kind of like get you into the mindset of the book. And then lastly, I'm pretty sure this is the last book. The last book that I ended up reading in June is Problematic Summer Romance. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I've seen that this one has like mixed reviews, but I really like it. This one I think kind of goes back to Ali Hazelwood's more traditional romances, because her last few have been like labeled as like erotica and stuff like that. This one, there is spice in it, but there's definitely not nearly as much as like I feel like some of her past books more recently have had. The spice doesn't happen until I think after the 60% mark. It's very subtle. It's not as intense as I feel like as some of her like latest releases. This book ends up following Maya and Hark, and Maya is the younger sister of Eli, who is the main character in Not in Love. This one, there is an age gap romance, and it takes place in Italy, and basically it's the week of Rue and Eli's wedding. That's what it's following. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Like I said, like I really liked it. It just like felt like her traditional rom-com, and I didn't see the age gap so much, like at least like, and like what I really did like about this though is that like they're fully aware obviously of their age gap, and Hark is actually the one who's kind of being like, no, like this is not appropriate, because he knows that there's a power dynamic between them, and he's not the one pursuing it, where she is, because she's like, I don't care how old you are, like I just like want to be with you. And he's kind of like, no, like there's too much of a power dynamic with our age difference for us to really be together, which I did appreciate, because a lot of the time I feel like it's kind of like it, like they don't really care, you know what I mean? But like he does. So anyways, that's the last book. I really enjoyed this one. I ended up giving it a 4 stars. So I do recommend it as an Ali Hazelwood book, and it's a perfect summer vibe. So if you were looking for more summer romances to read this year, definitely pick that one up. That is every book that I read in this video. I'm gonna close her out because I talked for forever and I need to go. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really, really hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow me on all my social medias, as well as subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.